Now, I'm flat out taking Israel Adesanya in this fight. There's no questions asked. I bet against Israel Adesanya before. It's not going to happen again. He's proved himself to me time and time again that he is the motherfucking guy. What's going on, bros and hoes? This is the Kevin Hoop Show, and we've got UFC 281 on our hands. Now, these fellas have fought once, and they fought twice, and they're about to beat each other to a pulp for a third fucking time. So shit's about to get real, alright? We've got Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira. Alright, gotta pronounce it perfectly. You gotta have the Pereira. Now, me personally, I've been watching Israel Adesanya since he first got the belt. I've really watched his career unfold and him really grow as a fighter. And Alex Pereira, he's only fought 4 times in the UFC. I know he was a world champion kickboxer. I think he got the belt twice, or was a double champ or something like that. But at the end of the day, he beat Israel Adesanya twice. And the first time it was by decision, and it was actually when he was a new and upcoming fighter and Israel Adesanya had already established himself. So it caught everyone by surprise when the decision went to Alex. Now, should it have went to him? I'm not a judge. Who knows? But there was no denying the second fight that he knocked the fuck out of Israel Adesanya. He put him straight on his fucking ass. When you fight someone once, you kind of gain some of their habits, some of their tricks up their sleeve, some of the things that they do all the time. When you fight someone twice, then you basically got them like the back of your hand. You just know everything that they're going to do. You can expect a lot of things that they're going to throw. You get a lot of their habits down. You get timing down. You get a lot of knowledge fighting someone twice. So I think that that's going to be a big factor going into the third fight. What has Israel Adesanya done to improve his kickboxing to prepare for Alex Pereira? Because Alex Pereira's kickboxing was definitely better. Not only once, but definitely twice. And if he hasn't improved himself kickboxing-wise compared to when he fought Alex Pereira the first 2 times, I think he's going to face a lot of problems. The thing is, I think Israel Adesanya has improved his kickboxing. Not only has he fought multiple fighters in the UFC just standing up without going to the ground, he has also challenged himself by going up in weight class to also try and show his kickboxing skills off in that against people that are in higher weight classes. So I think he has gone back to the drawing board and figured out where his weaknesses are in his kickboxing. At the same time, you have to see what Alex Pereira has improved on. Because Alex Pereira also has to have in the back of his mind that Israel Adesanya is going to be improving. He is going to be a different fighter than when he fought him the first 2 times. Will Alex Pereira be a different fighter? Will he have more of a grappling type of style? Has he adapted any grappling? I think that's a big question we're going to have in this fight. That's a thing we're also going to have to take in really for both fighters. How much grappling are we really going to see in this fight? Because we never saw grappling in their first 2 fights. So that's something that is going to be a completely different factor in this third fight with the whole entire grappling aspect. Will Alex Pereira have any grappling defense? Will he have any offense? Who's going to be the first person to go for the first takedown? I think that's going to be a big question in who's going to be improved fighter, who is really honed down on their skills and tried to adapt more as a fighter. And that's going to be a big factor in the fight in general. When you see MMA fighters transition to boxing, you see them struggle. And you basically see the same thing when boxers transition over to MMA. Now with Pat Smith, Marcus Davis, and James Toney are just a few examples that I've actually know of that I've looked up and have researched a little bit. And when they made the transition over and started to get to the elite fighter aspect of the UFC, they got whooped. It wasn't even a question of who was better. It was just an ass whooping. Now, I'm not saying the same thing is going to happen with Alex Pereira, but Israel Adesanya is no joke when it comes to MMA and especially acquiring his own type of skill and, not skill, but more or less style. Like, he has his freestyle bender, little nickname, but he really does have his own flow. You see him flow in there like water. He's like Bruce fucking Lee in there. He creates his own style. He makes his own little traps. And that is where I think Israel Adesanya is really going to take the fight. Now, I'm flat out taking Israel Adesanya in this fight. There's no questions asked. I bet against Israel Adesanya before. It's not going to happen again. He's proved himself to me time and time again that he is the motherfucking guy. Another big thing, obviously, the difference between MMA and kickboxing is grappling. Now, I haven't seen a lot of Israel Adesanya's grappling, but I have seen him have some good defense after the Jan Blachowicz fight. And I want to put that into perspective of how big that was, I think, for Israel Adesanya in his career. If you see someone else where he was at his career lose, they're going to lose their belt. But obviously, he got to keep his belt. It was only for the light heavyweight belt. Now, what he got to see was all of his weaknesses as a fighter. Now, he was 20-0 leading up to that Jan Blachowicz fight. And, there was the first loss in his MMA career. We saw after that fight all of the improvements Israel Adesanya made to make him the fighter that he is today, which I think a lot of people are now regarding him as the GOAT. That's a big, big title to hold as a fighter currently fighting in the UFC. A lot of fighters don't get, necessarily some of that recognition until after the fighting. Obviously, with GSP and other people, that there were some people at the end of their career you definitely could. He got with him having to keep his belt as well as having to improve. He didn't have to have the stress and the depression and the sadness of losing a belt and having all of that happen. He just had it as another loss and still got to keep his regular belt. He still got to go home and be the champ at the end of the day in his weight division. And we don't really get to see that a lot in the UFC. I think him having that gives him a huge advantage in this fight. The last thing I really want to get into here is, as a champion, you usually see fighters start to fall off a little bit. Not fall off. They take the pedal off the gas. They don't fight as much. You don't see them fight as much. You see them fight more or less once or twice a year for really big money fights. Israel Adesanya has fought 3. This is going to be his 3rd fight. He's already fought twice, and this is going to be his 3rd fight for this year. So he's staying active. He's been in now 3 different training camps, constantly getting better. And so is Alex Pereira. I'm not saying anything, he's doing the same amount as Israel Adesanya is, but I think the difference really is the caliber of fighters that they're facing. And Israel Adesanya has been facing nothing but killers. I think Alex Pereira has fought Sean Strickland last, and that being his really big test in the UFC. He definitely won the fight convincingly, but what is it going to look like when he fights a caliber of fighter like Israel Adesanya? And that's the big question. That's why we watch this game. That's why we tune in every Saturday night to watch some UFC fights. But that's all I got for you on this breakdown, folks. Hopefully you guys are going to be tuning in this Saturday. I'm going to try and do a watch party, possibly going live at 9:30. I got to make sure I can get it all set up, but tune into my Twitter. I'll be letting you guys know there. That will be in the description. Let me know who you guys think is going to win this fight, Israel Adesanya or Alex Pereira. All right, you let me know. Let me know about the Michael Chandler Dustin Poirier fight. We've got a stacked card this weekend with UFC 281. Tune in, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. And with that, have a great motherfucking Friday.